Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Listen Up Podcast. It is your boy, Brandon.
It's your boy Sam.
Yo, man, we're back with another 2-0 episode. I think this is the second year in a row we've been 2-0, man. We've done 2-0 pods, man. So we are back this time with the win over Southern Miss. Sam.
Yo.
Our Jaguars, man. They started the season 1-0 as well. But I feel like I got a problem with that defense, man. That defense ain't looking too good, is it?
The defense looked fine to me.
I
thought the defense looked bad. I thought the defense looked good.
I thought the defense looked bad, man.
Nah, I thought they looked.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I thought the defense looked fine. I thought the offense struggled a little bit. I thought they had a chance to put the game away if they'd have scored before the half and then after the half, but they kind of just, I don't know what they was doing, malazing or whatever, getting ready for KC this week, I guess.
I don't know. I felt like the game plan. You know what I mean? I felt like I knew they were going to do nothing but target, but have Anthony Richardson run, and instead of game planning for running, they kind of game planning more for him throwing the football, which I thought was strange.
To me,
that was, I think, what threw me.
I thought they got plenty of stops. I thought they got more than enough stops to blow the Colts out. Personally, they should have blew the Colts out personally, but
no, I agree with that. I agree they should have blew the Colts out,
but the Giants are fine though. I mean,
oh no, they fine.
Yeah, they fine. I think they're going to beat the Chiefs this week. So
even if Kelsey play a desperate KC team, even though with Kelsey back,
even with Kelsey, I think they beat the Chiefs. I think they beat the Chiefs. I actually think they beat the Chiefs pretty handily. Actually,
don't know.
Yeah, I'm good for a good bold prediction, though. I'm good for.
Okay, all right. Listen, man. Hey, listen, I got us losing. You got us winning. Feel like last week all over again. Right. But the opposite, but in reverse, man. But listen, back Southern Miss. I don't think anybody really expected it to be a game, but I guess we do have a few takeaways from the game. What were some of your, I guess, initial thoughts? What were some of your takeaways from the game?
I'm curious. What did you think about the game? Other than we're gonna get to the Johnny Wilson thing, but what did you think?
Early on in the game, I thought it was Mike doing Mike things. You know what I mean? Mike somehow looks at, again, I've told you, I thought it was one of the biggest problems one of the biggest issues I had with Mike was the fact that I don't feel like he respects all of his opponents. And when you don't respect all of your opponents, it trickles down into the team, and the team then doesn't respect those opponents. And then you can and then you end up with some real sloppy play early. There was never a chance where I thought Southern Miss could beat Florida State. And we happy as hell for 66 points. But early in that game, I thought a lot of the sloppiness came from the fact that Mike came in the game with, all right, we're going to try some different receiver combinations. Let's try some different line combinations. Let's try some defensive stuff. I mean, let's just try some stuff. They can't beat us, so let's try some stuff. And I've often said, let the main thing be the main thing, and then you can get to trying some stuff. You know what I mean? Get up 28, get up 35. Then, you know what I mean? Like, if you would put them away early, you could have had 35-0 in the first quarter and then use the second quarter to try anything you wanted. But I understood what he was doing. You know what I mean? I get it. You know, it's Southern Miss. They can't beat you. You got a huge talent event. You got one of your better teams. But in my opinion, I thought, that was the biggest takeaway is Mike's constant lack of respect for opponents. And I guess I get it, right? It's Southern Miss, but I felt like last year, years before he's tried this and it's come to mess with him. I don't want him to do that against a better quality opponent. Like, in other words, BC also shouldn't beat you. But if you decide you're going to treat BC like Southern Miss because BC can't beat you, then you can lose to BC. Does that make sense? And maybe they can't, right? Again, I don't think they can lose to BC either, but there is an opponent on this schedule who you are better than, who, if you decide to take this lackadaisical approach towards, I do think can slip up and beat you. And I'm worried that worried me a little bit from future games, not this game specifically, but in the future. There is a team, and again, and it may not be. He may literally have that team. I guess I'm talking about both sides, but I do feel like there is a possibility that you can play this game with the wrong opponent, not taking them seriously or looking ahead to other opponents or just using the game as an experiment, live practice, in other words, or live scrimmage, that I think is just I don't like it. As a fan, as a person who watches the game, I don't like the fact that sometimes he will take some of these paycheck games, if you will, and use them as live scrimmages. That's literally my only takeaway.
Well, I don't. I didn't have a problem with the combination that he was using. I had a problem with execution. Like, just go out and execute whatever you put out in for practice that week that you want to try to do, execute it. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna throw the ball to Johnny Wilson 10 times in the first quarter, execute the throws. If you're
But
gonna
that's what I'm saying. I don't think that, like, I don't.
but I mean,
I don't know if there was a game plan other than let's just let Jordan Travis throw
yeah,
bombs. Like, it didn't look like they were trying to execute anything. It's just like they were just out there practicing.
I mean, if you ran the plays, you ran the plays to execute the plays that's being called. I mean,
I get what you're saying.
whatever combination you want to put out there, I'm fine with it. Whoever you want to throw the ball to, I'm fine with that too. Just execute the plays that's being called. Like, you know what I'm saying? I think you have to expect some type of a letdown after a big win like the LSU game. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Um, I think some of the things I like is the fact that the team does have some depth, right? I think the offense line is pretty deep. Um, I thought the wide receivers, in my opinion, I don't think they really played a good game. And I think that's more the problem. I don't think it's so much the plays Mike was calling or the combinations that he was calling. I just think the wide receivers didn't play a great game. And I think a little bit of that was on the quarterback, not so much on the wide receivers on some of those throws. Because when I went back and kind of watched the game again, I was like, I kind of could see why Johnny Wilson was a little frustrated, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm getting the ball kind of underthrown to me a little bit. I got to come back. Now, do he need to catch the football? Yes, he need to catch the football. You know what I'm saying? But I think a lot of it is like just execution type stuff, missing a few blocks. Like, come out first quarter, dominate the team in the first two series, set this, but other than that, I really don't have too much of a problem. I like the fact that they play a lot of different combinations at DB. I like that. I like the fact that they play a lot of different combinations at linebacker, the D line. I kind of would like to have seen the D line get a little bit more pressure, but they did rise up on occasion, so I can't really be too mad about that either. So overall, I think he did a good job. I thought it was a good game, personally.
Very good game. Again, anytime you can roll up 66 points, man, it's hard to find, at this point, we are really nitpicking things.
But I do think, though, when you look at the team, you're starting to judge them through this prism of can they win a national championship, or they're going to grow into a national championship team. I think that's the issue. Like, I keep seeing people keep saying, we put 66 points, so why is everybody so upset? Well, I think people are kind of looking at like, okay, you got this team this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you maximize the potential of the football team, right? So I think it does have to look a certain way, and players have to play a certain kind of way for you to understand that everybody's on the same mission. You know what I'm saying? And I think what you saw in the first quarter, it kind of felt like maybe it was different agendas going on in the first quarter. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of the vibe it kind of gave off. Like, what are we doing? You know what I'm saying?
This is going to be the hardest job Mike has to do. This is his hardest coaching job, in my opinion, because he has to coach a good team. It's honestly, when you're going out there and you're the underman team, you're the underman opponent. You ain't got a lot of talent. You ain't got a lot of position. You know what I mean? Skill players who can really get the job done. You out there just going through the motions because these players only gonna get but so much better, right?
Right.
You have a team who can potentially play for a championship. At this point, it's ahead of them. At this point, all they gotta do is maintain. You will have a team that plays, that plays at least in the Final Four game, in a playoff game. If they don't do nothing different than what they've done these first two games, all they gotta do is continue to win. Right. So at this point, they put themselves in playoff position. That's a completely different, because now you got to deal with some egos, right? You have to deal with Keon Coleman taking over that number one spot. Johnny Wilson had been number one for the longest. And even Jordan has favored Johnny Wilson because of, I think, out of just some familiarity or whatever it is. But it's clear that's probably going to switch. Jordan's smart enough to understand, I can't keep throwing it to Johnny and Johnny keep dropping it, when this other guy is making a highlight ESPN top 10 plays every game. Yeah. And there's no, like, I'm not going to continue to throw it to him. So in my opinion, I thought, again, I say it reflects on Mike. Mike has to treat each game like a championship game almost. We got to prepare and we got to play for it. So when you decide to take a first quarter off, essentially, and just try stuff, Because I'm telling you, like on TV, it looked like they were just trying stuff. It looked like they had no real game plan. We'll run it sometime. We're gonna throw it deep. None of the stuff they did against LSU were they even attempting to do. You know what I mean? And it's an overmatched opponent. I get it or whatever. I just, in my opinion, I didn't like the approach that either Mike took or the team took from Mike or the team itself. You know what I mean? Mike wasn't expecting it and they just didn't, like you said, execute. Regardless of whichever one it was, that first quarter was really difficult to see coming off how good they looked the second half of LSU. I expected them to execute better, even if it was just jump balls and Hail Marys. You know what I mean? Which again, it was a whole lot of jump balls and Hail Marys.
Yeah.
Even if that's the game plan, then like you said, maybe execute a little better. Just real quick on Johnny. I'm not gonna pile on Johnny. Johnny is who he is. You know what I mean? Like Johnny is who he is, man. He gonna drop balls. He's also gonna make highlight catches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay with it. Like when people show you who they are, believe them. Johnny has shown us he has a propensity to drop the easy one and catch the hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Period. So what I expect Johnny to do? Drop the easy ones, catch the hard ones. It's 50-50. Right. If you catch an easy one, cool, we'll take it. But I also understand a drop's coming. Drop's coming.
Yeah, I think the Johnny thing is hilarious to me because he's a top 10 pick. Now,
he was never.
Well, I'm just saying, was a first round pick.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think he's a very inconsistent pass catcher. You know, he's been that since he got here. You know what I'm saying? It don't mean he's not gonna make plays. He's gonna make plays. You know, like one of the main reasons why I was like, okay, every game that I thought was 50-50 for FSU, I'm kind of putting him in like, okay, I think you can win the game now. It's because you brought Keon Coleman in, right? Like you brought Keon Coleman in. I was like, okay, you got a bona fide number one, probably first round, early second round draft pick, right? I mean, T. Higgins win the second round.
The way he playing.
Well, no, I'm just saying in general. Like I always grade players against other players that they position as in the NFL. True. Like, okay, what is T. Higgins? What is this guy? You know what I'm saying? Like, how does he match up next to like a Jamar Chase? Guys that go in top 10 wide receiver, what do they look like? They look a certain kind of way. But I do put Coleman as like a first round, you know, like I said, anywhere from pick 15 to 32. I think he's going there, right? You know, I don't think Johnny Wilson has that type of ceiling. Okay, that's just me being blatantly honest. All right, I never thought that, but at the same time, he's a really good college football player, and he's gonna make a lot of really good plays for FSU. But the problem is, and I think this is where the coaching job for Mike is different because you have to allow the players on the team, to develop their roles and understand their roles, right? And that's difficult, right? Like
it's harder than knowing you got a bunch of screw-ups. It really like it's difficult.
It's easy to go out there with Andrew Parchman and throw the ball to him 10 times, right? You ain't got nobody else behind him, right? Throw the ball, he could drop 7 of them, run the wrong route 3 times.
You still got to throw it to him.
Not a big deal, right? But you got to coach this team to not only play on the margins, but to win on the margins that they play on.
Yep.
That's a little difficult, right? Because now when Jordan Travis underthrow the football and the coach don't say nothing to Jordan Travis about the underthrow football, but the coach say something to Johnny Wilson about the drop football, now you create issues.
You got to manage that.
You got to manage these things, right? So, and I think personally on the sidelines, I mean, I think, in my opinion, Mike's management fine to me. You know what I'm saying? I don't ever think it's as bad as people want it to be. I never think it's as good as everybody think it is either. You know, it's a little bit of both. But I do think that it's going to be tough because you got a lot of games that's going to be blowouts. Everybody want to put up numbers and put up stats and do all this other stuff. Like, quite frankly, I didn't like the fact they came out trying to force feed Johnny Wilson the football. Yep. That's me. Because in my opinion, if you say you're going to build a program on everybody got to earn everything, well, I'm finna come out and show you this is my number one receiver. I'm finna come out and show you this is my number one running back. These are guys I'm going to win with. You're going to see that by every play call that I call in the beginning of games. You know what I'm saying? Now, it is some other things about the offense that I think is kind of flawed that kind of skews how we look at things because the offense is all based on matchups, right? So it's a lot of shot plays that gets called in this offense, and that's fine. I'm not saying it's a bad thing because I mean Kyle Shanahan does this shit, like, and Sean McVay does this. They call a lot of shot plays, right? Well, I'm designing this offense to get the ball to 1 to 2 guys, right? But sometimes when you don't come out and do progression reading, some guys can get left behind, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you're not doing progressions, right? You're not allowing the defense to tell you where the ball's going to go at, right? You're
Right.
designing the play where the ball's going to go at, right? Like,
Right.
you
2
ran
yards
plays,
and a 50-yard bomb. Everybody ain't touched the ball, but
right?
only 2 people touched the ball. Running back and 1 wide receiver. That'll hurt your
Right.
feelings, you know what I mean?
You know,
Especially if you
so
only play a half of football.
right. So I mean, overall, that's going to be difficult. But I do think he got to find a way to. I got to be honest with you, man. If I mean, I don't like to compare Norvell to these other coaches, but these other coaches that have won that championship don't care about this stuff, man. Like Urban Meyer was like, "Hey, Michael Thomas the best wide receiver and Zeke Elliott the best running back. They gonna touch the ball 30 times. Like this is just what's finna happen today. You know what I'm saying? Like
Urban also told him.
well, I'm just saying,
if like we treat the good and we
right?
treat the shit like shit. If you don't want to be treated like shit, then become good.
But I'm
like,
saying though, like if they best players was who these guys is, like if they best player was Julio Jones and Mark Ingram, guess who's gonna touch the ball every time? Julio Jones and Mark Ingram. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be concerned about what everybody else need or what everybody else want, right? So overall, I
ML
just think
1219 made a very good point. I want you to highlight that after this one. Go ahead.
yeah. But I just think it's just a different coaching job. He got to manage it. I mean, you finna blow out BC this week. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It
And it'll probably look exactly like this. It's gonna
right.
look like a whole bunch of, you know what I mean, plays that get
Yeah.
nothing, and then it's
And
gonna be like you say, 16 plays a home run. Like it's
right.
their offense.
But
Yeah,
that's
it's
the
really their
offense, though.
offense. It's
That's
the
the
offense is
offense.
designed to dink you,
Yeah.
bam, we going. You know what I mean?
Right.
To the house race. You know what I
I'm
mean?
only
So
running these 5 plays to set up this one big play. Right. I mean, that's
I've
what
run
the
all of
offense
these to
is.
set. And you saw it work again when it's working. Oh my, it looks beautiful.
Right.
When it's not working, it looks real ugly because you got a whole bunch of 3 and outs in there. You know what I'm saying? Like you might 3 and out it, you might get a stumble possession that don't look like you was really even trying anything. Like why'd you throw that lateral on 3rd and 4? Because that didn't make sense to me. But that lateral on 3rd and 4 is to set up 2nd and 10 or 2nd and 5 from your own 40 later on. You're giving the defense something, and then so you can throw off of it later. That's Mike's offense. It's worked really, 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 really well up until this point. So you can't really criticize it. But again, I thought I didn't think that was the game plan last week. The game plan last week was just we playing some bums, just throw it. You know what I mean? Just throw it up. And that's why I didn't like that as a game plan coming into the game.
I mean, like
it looked like they were just throwing Hail Marys.
I mean, like you look at somebody like Kirby Smart and that defense that he runs. I mean, he tell guys that could be elite edge rushers to not edge rush and just run out the quarterback. So they have no numbers. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to get guys to kind of buy into the idea that you're going to get drafted where you're going to get drafted at. But the team has to be the main thing. You know what I'm saying? That's a harder sell. That's a hard sell sometimes. That can be a hard sell.
Like I say, if he's able to win a championship, I'm gonna say it will be one of the best coaching jobs because again, not only are you having to manage personalities. We talked about this probably a few years ago when the NIL first started. You got to manage folks with money, like kids. You got to manage kids with money. You understand what I'm saying? Like that's that's tough. You know what I mean? What's his name? Just renegotiated. Didn't just with the battle collective or whatever it is. Didn't Keon Coleman at the 1 game?
I don't like to talk about people.
We can talk about it. Okay.
I don't like
all right. So renegotiate. There was a renegotiation that happened in between. Again, players are getting money, right? And so they are now. So what happens is you start comparing. Oh, I've been here for this. I do this. I'm making this. You as a coach now have to manage that. And that is a difficult job. And you not only have to manage it, you have to manage it while trying to still coach your football team and them other guys who don't have nearly the amount of money. You're dealing with personalities. You're dealing with, again, expectations, which is new for this team. This team has never had to deal with expectations. Last year was a fluke. And I don't want to say a fluke, but nobody expected it. I think the beat writers had like 5, 6, 7 wins. I don't think anybody had him above 8. Not anybody who actually, predict stuff for FSU football. So now for them to get 10 wins, well, that's unexpected. This season, they've come in with expectations of like what most would say an ACC championship. They've now been thrown into national championship. Jordan Travis is one of the top 3 when it comes to Heisman voting, or Heisman projections or whatever. That creates a lot of, you know what I mean? Keon Coleman's been on SportsCenter every week now for 2 consecutive weeks with highlight plays.
Right.
If I'm Johnny, who was the man here a week ago, Mike has to manage the fact that Johnny now is number 2. Like the play has ruled that out. Nobody made the decision, and I felt like last week was let's keep Johnny ahead. Let's keep Johnny in the game because Johnny feel like he, Johnny ain't number 1 no more, and he sees it, and everybody sees it. So now let's feature Johnny this game, and it didn't work. And now we got to figure out how does he get into Johnny's head to get Johnny back in focus. Because really, it's a confidence thing right now, in my opinion. Again, we know who Johnny is, but we know who Johnny is. I agree, but I do think it can spiral to the point where he's dropping a whole lot more than 3 or 4. Like there was a period of time where he was dropping 1 or 2 or whatever it is. I think you can get to a place where he drops the next 5 or 6 just because he is, you know what I mean? Because he's thinking a little bit too much, and I do think that's something that Mike's gonna have to manage so it doesn't snowball on him.
I don't think they're gonna come out against BC and throwing the ball in a jump ball situation, catch a touchdown.
He gonna catch one of them.
He'll
catch it.
I mean, I think the thing is, and I think I heard Urban say this, I heard Nick Saban say this, I remember Jimbo said in 13. You're trying to build championship habits. You know what I'm saying? So how do you do that? You gotta find a way to do that. Like with Jimbo, it's kind of like, in 13, it was like, dude, he was coaching every possession hard as hell. And like they was blowing teams out, and he was coaching every possession like it was like, you saw Pruitt like doing full breakdowns on the sideline with dry erase boards
against bad teams.
Yeah,
against bad teams up 50.
So you have to kind of like, you got to create those championship habits, and I don't think Norvell's ever been a part of a national championship team, so he got to do this on the fly.
And that's what I was saying. Like I felt like this game, it wasn't like you said, creating championship habits, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like this game was a part of that. Like compare that 13 team. There was never a quarter. There wasn't a quarter. There wasn't a down. There wasn't a period where they weren't fully executing at 100%. They, you know what I mean? They were always locked in.
The thing about that,
forget an experiment game. We ain't experiment with shit. We come out here, we're gonna beat your ass, and we going back to the locker room. You get what I'm saying?
But the thing,
we're gonna play hangman in the second half. You get what I'm saying? Let's take care of business, and then we'll play hangman. We ain't got to try out no different combinations because we know what the fuck we got. You know what I'm saying? We know what we got. Let's get it done.
Yeah, the thing about the 13 team was they came into the year in 12 with expectations. So they fell short of those expectations in 12, right? And then they came back at 13, and they was going to leave no doubt in every game they played until they got to that point. You know what I'm saying? So they had kind of, but this team ain't really been there. So you got to create that.
You got a whole bunch of people in a contract year too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like I would think I'm coming out wild in every game. Like Verse can't take a game off. You know what I mean? Verse, I'm in a contract year. Fabo, I get it. Like he ain't out there. Whatever. Like everybody who decided they were coming back because we out here trying to get paid. The only 2 people who I've seen who has actually looked like they trying to get paid every single game has been Johnny and Keon. There's been some few flashes here and there, but Johnny and Keon consistently have said we trying to get to the league and we trying to make some money. Like we got to improve this draft stock. I haven't seen Verse.
Yeah, and I think
I get it. He's been double and triple team. He had, and now we can talk about this last game, but that LSU game, I went back and watched that one, and he really got double teamed and chipped a lot. He gonna see, like, if you good, you got to get through that. Like you have to fight through that.
About? All the top 5 pass rushers, guys that's going to
go
top
and that's
10
what I'm
draft.
saying.
This is what they deal with.
This is what they get. So I know we don't, but he has to do a better job
in triple team,
and that's what I mean.
That's correct.
He has to do a better job of hey, I got to get through. I got to adjust my game to now I'm getting double teamed in the chip, but I still got to make an impact on the game.
Right.
And so he said,
And I think
he said answered all the questions correctly by basically saying, no, listen, send all the people to me. I'm fine. I won't even get a lot of sacks this year. Everybody else will eat. Great team mentality. We need you to eat a little bit too, though. But like, I feel you, Jared, but you got to eat a little bit too.
So we already 25 minutes in. We're not going to do a long with y'all. So, but I was going to get to, like, as you watch the teams around the country, what did you think? Because, I mean, now we talking about FSU potentially, like, you got a couple teams that you got to play. So, how did that work out?
Like who?
Like, I mean, I watched Miami. I was actually impressed with the Miami Texas A&M game. I mean, as you look around, because Alabama lost.
I was impressed with the game itself. I thought Miami looked real slow. I don't know if you can hear me. I think I'm out.
Yeah, I can hear you.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Like if my whole screen went black or whatever. I watched that Texas A&M game and I thought a lot of what Kirk said in the game one. Miami's slow. Miami got some speed at a couple positions, but as a team speed, they look big and slow. I'm not sure how well that's going to translate against.
I think FSU can beat Miami. I ain't worried about that.
I don't even. Oh no, I ain't talking about us. I'm not even talking about us.
Whereas you look around at teams that can compete for that, you might have to play like you got to play. You either gonna have to play either North Carolina or Miami. I'm thinking
twice.
No, you don't play North Carolina this year, do you? You wouldn't play them until you play. Yeah,
but in the championship, I agree with that. Yeah, you don't play North Carolina.
So you either gonna have to play Miami or North Carolina. And then you look around. I mean, Texas, Bama just lost to Texas. I don't think Bama's done. Personally, I don't know.
Done.
People ready to write the tombstone, the grade, the epitaph on Bama. I'm not really there yet. I mean, I do think they'll step below because of that. It's crazy. People keep talking about they got beat up on the line of scrimmage. I thought that dude had plenty of time to throw the football. He just wouldn't throw the football.
oh yeah. I looked at that game and I said that looks a lot like Jaden Daniels-ish. You know what I mean? I thought that was real Jaden Daniels-ish. I think the problem with Alabama is their quarterback. Period.
Yeah. So
you find a quarterback who can throw the football. That Alabama's a completely different team.
Yeah, so I if I look at the teams around, I'm like, man, I got to see what Georgia eventually becomes, but it does.
I'm interested in seeing what
open.
Georgia look like.
It does feel open. It does feel wide open.
I was just a little bit, and I want to see Georgia play a quality opponent. I want to see Michigan and Penn State, USC play a top quality opponent.
Just put
but I ain't gonna lie to you. UGA, Penn State, Michigan State are top. Bama ain't done. Literally, if a QB makes 2 more throws, they would win the game. Yeah, again, that's what I said. I thought Bama's problem was the quarterback. UGA, Texas, Penn State, Michigan State, and USC are top. I'm assuming you mean Florida State in there as well, or you don't. I don't know. Maybe you can clarify.
Yeah, I think you do.
Because I think Florida State is in that group as well. And we've actually played a quality opponent. Like, let me see what USC, Penn State, Michigan, and USC are about before I put them in the top.
Thing about USC,
I think USC looks good though. I ain't gonna lie. USC is the only game or the only team I looked at and said, "Whoo, that's going." Hey, I don't want to play USC. I don't care what the scenario situation is. I do not want to play USC. USC look like they got some team speed over there.
That's a team
they got some athletes over there, and that offense
so fast,
like it's humming.
Yeah,
I don't want to play USC. Everybody else.
Yeah, USC is that's a fast group, man.
USC is fast as shit, y'all. USC got speed everywhere too. It's woo. I ain't gonna lie. That USC is the only opponent that I saw, and I was like, them boys got some speed. They got some talent. It's gonna be very, 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 very tough for anybody to beat USC.
And people keep talking about Clemson. I'm gonna see what Clemson do this week.
Clemson has got the same problem LSU got. They don't have a quarterback, and they don't have, and they also don't have no receivers. Their quarterback's not very good, and their receivers are below average.
Yeah, and I think
Clemson's gonna have a real problem beating teams. Like again, we watched Charleston Southern go half with them before they wore out, but they was going half. What was it like at halftime? Like tied a 1 possession game going into halftime.
Yeah,
against Charleston Southern.
Like I said, we got to see. The only thing about Notre Dame is pretty good too.
Notre Dame looked good. I thought you're right, T. Murray. Yep, Notre Dame I thought looked good as well. Yep.
Yeah. So
I don't know about championship good, but I thought they were decent. And Sam Hartman does make a big difference over there.
Dude, that should be so funny. We have to play Sam Hartman in the playoffs. Jesus Christ.
I don't need a precise quarterback, you know what I mean, who knows how to read defenses. We don't need that type of shit in our life.
And that's another thing that really hurts me, that irritates me, is like every week FSU puts on film, they can't handle motion.
Not handle motion.
Yeah, that defense can't handle motion. They can say Fuller's doing a great job all they want. That defense cannot handle motion.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all. Dante, Clemson can be up to play whoever they want to play. It don't matter. Like I'm saying, first of all, they at noon, I saw somebody mention noon. Thank you for that. That's the ACC saying we want FSU is good this year. We need FSU's brand to still be good. Like they put us at noon because they know if it get to nighttime and Death Valley get to Death Valley and all sorts of stuff, then who knows? You know, Clemson still got a little bit of talent there.
Right.
And, you know, who knows what can happen. 12 o'clock. Give me a sleepy noon. Yeah, give me one of them. Give me a 12 o'clock against Clemson. I'll take that right now. You know what I mean? So 12 o'clock against Clemson, I love it. I love it. I think that does nothing but play in the Florida State's advantage because I think that crowd's it's not going to be nearly the same vibe that it would have been at night.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think they got the team. They just gotta get better, though.
Let me ask you, how do they get better? Like, how do they get better? Where do they get better? Because here's the thing, right? They got margins,
but they got to get better in that secondary, and they got to get better on the offensive line too. They do.
It's hard. You know what's funny? It's hard to argue. We talk about defense every week. We talk about the motion. We talk about the defense. And it's so hard to argue defense when they go for so many long stretches without letting teams score. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like they go for a whole lot of again, they shut out LSU for basically the entire second half into some garbage points. They did the same thing again last week. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to say the defense has to be better.
But I guess
they've done it. But they do have to be better.
But you're chasing the ghost of perfection because I imagine if you play Sam Hartman, he would hit the throws that Jaden Daniels missed.
With the defense playing the way it is. Yep.
Right. He'll hit them throws that Jaden Daniels keep missing, or the kid from Southern Mississippi missed. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just like
Florida. Motion you all. Lincoln Riley gonna motion you all game, and there'll be dudes running wide open.
Right.
You're gonna have you're gonna play a basketball score.
And Caleb Williams,
it's gonna be a basketball score, and Caleb Williams definitely gonna play. It's gonna be a basketball score because USC don't play no defense either. So it's gonna be it'll be an 80 to 75 game or something like that, something stupid,
But I also think that you can't.
83 to 3 run. It's hard to argue when you know what I mean with the defense on the 83 to 3 run.
Yeah, but I don't look too much.
They really can't play better.
I don't look too much into that because that's like Florida fans yesterday were talking about McNeese State. I'm like, bro, it's McNeese State. Whatever, bro. Congratulations. Like your test was last.
Talking?
Huh?
Who was talking?
I'm talking about Gator fans.
Gator fans wasn't talking.
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, but it's early, and the team has to keep getting better, and that's going to be the trick. The trick is getting better every week because you got to.
And I believe they will.
And you got to create those championship habits. That's the key. You know what I'm saying?
That was the only thing I didn't like about this game. Literally, the only thing I didn't like about this game was the fact that I thought they came out with a very lackadaisical mentality of and I thought it trickled. I thought it was Mike because he's the leader, and I thought it trickled down to the team where they literally just did whatever they felt like what they wanted to do. I don't know if anybody was even trying to execute plays. Right. I don't know if Jordan was even trying to execute plays like that. When you talk about execution, I don't know if all those plays were designed to be home runs. Maybe they were. Maybe he was trying to just, blow the doors off early or whatever it is. But I thought if he had just decided to run an offense, then you would have gotten to those 34, 35 points real quick. Yeah, it looked like a scrimmage. It looked like it looked like we were playing against an unmatched opponent. So let's just try whatever we can. And I hate feeling like
man, Chris Jones gonna play against Jaguars, man. He just signed his contract.
You still feel the same way?
Kind of shaking
against that offensive line.
I'm a little shaky now.
Oh, okay. All right. I just want to see what you say. Because I remember last when you say we could change our minds. So I was gonna give you the opportunity to change your mind. You know what I mean? Because the players they play, that's a big piece in the middle with a line that's not too good. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a little shaky now. Yeah.
But anyway,
Chris Jones.
I was hoping he stuck that out for a good little. But he ain't gonna be in full game shape either. He ain't been practicing. He been out handing out turkeys.
He finna push Ben Barch right into the left.
He ain't in game shape. He ain't in game shape. Dante with me. We tried to hold out hope. He ain't in game shape.
Man, he finna push Ben Barch at.
Man, you know He finna get pushed around that yard, man. He ain't got no game shape. He better get some practices under his belt before he come out here and mess with these Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence finna hang 50 on them boys.
That man finna push Tyler Shatley right into Trevor Lawrence's lap.
Right into Trevor Lawrence. He gonna have him like a child, just carrying him back to the quarterback area and play. That's gonna get real bad. But anyway, yeah, man. But listen, and we can wrap. I know you got a hard stop, but Florida State is a very good football team. I do believe they're in the mix with all of the top teams. They should be where they're ranked. They control their own destiny.
Right.
They got to get better. If they want to actually, again, you don't want to go out there and TCU. That's not fun. You do not want to go out there and 66-0 to you know what I mean? You get whatever they got put on by that whatever TCU got beat last year in the championship, you don't want that. That's terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That ain't fun. That ain't it. But so you want to be able to say, hey, at the end of the season, we playing their best football. What I can tell you is based on, I'm gonna use last year as a guide. They played their best football at the end of the year last year.
Yeah,
with the limited talent they had, they improved every single game. By the end of the season, I thought they were humming. They looked good, and they were limited last year. This year, you don't have very many limits. You have depth. That's the biggest thing I thought. And we can talk about in takeaway section, depth. They actually have depth at some positions now, which they did not have before. Being able to come in and watch freshmen make plays as opposed to just a freshman being out there. You know what I mean? I mean, he out there, but he'll be in the portal. We ain't got to ever worry about it. He will never see the field again. I hope he enjoyed his time out there. But now actually having guys who you can look forward to and say, oh, no, they're going to look good in the future. Oh, we're going to be good at this position in the future. Oh, we're going to be all right at this position in the future. I thought Florida State had a lot of depth. And so as long as those guys keep getting better, I believe they will. I believe what's his name? Trey Benson, he'll start to figure it out more. He played better at the back half of last season. He looked exactly kind of how he looked, a little hesitant or whatever early in the season.
And at the end of the season, and the matchups is what.
Yeah. And at the end of the season, he just got tougher and tougher and tougher as the games got on. And I think he'll continue to do that. What's funny is I think Toa Philly's running better than him now. I don't know if anybody want to really say that out loud.
Big play Toe.
Toa Philly is running better than him now, and he might, again, if he don't get it better, we might get a chance to see those. We might see a little bit of a swap going on because again, we got a lot of running backs. We got a lot of dogs at running back. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
you know what I mean. He better get it together because we'll see. So yeah, I think we'll have I think we're good. I think each position has the ability to improve. Johnny Wilson still has not put together a complete game that I thought was decent. He's going to have at least one. Let's hope he save it for Clemson. Trey Benson has not looked great as well. I think he'll pull it together as well as we get closer to it. I'm hoping he's saving it for Clemson. And now, like as those two guys play better, you become better. You're a better football team. Defensively, I think, as they get more and more, as they gel together, that's a new group back there. As they gel together, get a little better. I think we'll be where we need to be when the end of the season comes. I do think they'll be undefeated. I can't see a team on the schedule who can beat them. It damn sure in Miami. Y'all can put up whatever money they want to put up and all sorts of stuff because they beat Jimbo, who's about to get fired with again. And I thought both of them. You looked at it and said both of them teams look good. I looked at them, both of them teams and said they both look average. They both look slow.
Man,
and they ain't gonna be able to compete with none.
What's average? I think both of them teams gonna win 8 games.
That's average, ain't it?
I mean,
okay, so a little bit above average.
I mean,
slightly above.
That'll make them a top 25 teams, right? Both of them be top 25 teams.
Wins?
Win 8. Yeah, bro.
Okay, so then, all right, so then they're both top 25 teams.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't agree with that. I don't think Texas A&M is a top 25 team at all. But I also think, if Miami is a top 25 team, what are they? 25?
The A&M discussion is going to be funny because if you go look at that schedule, they beat LSU last year, right? So they play LSU again this year.
Right.
They're better on offense this year than it was last year. Okay. They play Arkansas. They suck. Ole Miss. They suck. Mississippi State. They suck. Like, they got about 5 games that they're going to outscore those teams in.
Yeah, they'll win. Yeah.
And their defensive line is good. Now, that back 7 is terrible. But like I just said, not a lot of good quarterbacks in SEC this year. So it's a chance that they actually win 8 games going away. 8 to 9 games. And I don't think you're firing somebody that wins 8 or 9 games. I think you're going to be mad. I think you're going to have him on a hot seat. I
Yeah.
think you'll be waiting on him to fuck up. But I don't think you can fire somebody that win 8 or 9 games.
I think at this present moment, they're looking into Jimbo's background and hoping that they find some Michigan State type stuff
I ain't gonna even get
so
into
that
that
they
stuff,
can
man.
so that they can make a similar you know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that they, so they can make a similar move to what's happening over there in Michigan State. That's what I think.
Okay, but they said 8 wins ain't guaranteed. If you're in the SEC, you win 8 and then win 9 in a bowl game, you're gonna be in the top 25 in the SEC.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they will.
And
They'll be in the top
goes.
25. Again, I'm actually hoping Miami gets in the top 25. That does nothing but boast. You know what I mean? When they get to talking in them back rooms and all sorts, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want them to be like Florida State ain't playing nobody. If LSU decide they're going to go downhill, then you're going to need another quality opponent. And at this point, I'm not sure we're going to get one. Again, Clemson just fell out of the rankings. So that's not going to be a top 25 opponent win, even though it's Clemson. We'll be happy about it because we ain't won it, but they ain't going to move the needle in it. You need another a quality opponent. Florida ain't gonna give it to you. Boston, like, who else is gonna be in the top 25 when you play them? Nobody. So you actually want Miami to be decent, just so you can say, all right, well, we beat LSU and we beat Miami.
Right.
So yeah, I'm fine with ranking Miami because, again, I don't think Miami has an opportunity to be. I don't think Miami has a chance to beat us, just from a talent standpoint. I believe our talent level and their talent level is just two different tiers. I believe they're good. I agree. I think they're good, and I thought they might be good to start the season. They're not elite. They're not elite.
Who?
Miami.
I mean, no, they're not elite, but I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think there's levels.
But you're gonna have to play well against them.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can't come in there with a B game and think you're gonna.
You can't come in like you came in against Southern Miss, but they won't. See, that's the thing.
They won't. They'll get up.
They'll come in like LSU. Yeah, they'll come in like LSU, and they'll blow the doors off 45-3 again. You know what I mean? Like, I believe I can.
You think it'll be a 45-3 game?
I can absolutely see Florida State getting locked in for Miami and blowing it. Especially, let's say Miami get ranked to 12. They don't lose another game before Florida State. They'll be what, 12, 10?
Yeah.
Florida State will take that game real serious.
But
they'll be real personal, and they'll be much improved.
You think they'll blow them out?
They just blew out LSU. You think Miami beating LSU?
I don't know, man.
You think Miami beating LSU?
I mean, because the only reason I say that is because Miami offensive line is really good. I watch, like, they played pretty good against a really good defensive line, and their defensive line was really good against a good offensive line. So if you tell me,
what are they going to do to again? And the same question I keep asking: what are they going to do to stop Florida State? If Florida State is not stopping themselves,
okay, but we having a different conversation though. We have a conversation. I think it's going to be a game. I'm not saying we're going to beat. I know we're going to beat them, but I'm saying I think that's going to be a 32-35 game.
Oh no. Okay. All right. I mean, okay. All right.
That's what I think. I mean, I could be wrong. Shit, I've been wrong before. Shit, I've been wrong.
Yeah, no. Okay. I don't think Miami's 3. Okay. All right. We listen.
I think that's a game in the fourth quarter.
Let's see what Miami look like. Miami beat Texas A&M. I'm gonna see what Texas A&M look like. I'm gonna see what Miami look like. They still got to play North Carolina. We got to play Clemson. I'm gonna see what everybody look like in a few weeks, and then there's no way in the world I'm finna talk about Miami. I can see 42. What I see 42-31. That's still too many points. I would say 42-24, but
okay. Well, all right.
But I mean, okay.
I got a hard stop, man. But y'all like, subscribe to the show. I don't know how much coverage we can give on Boston College. I don't know what we're doing here, people.
We beat Boston College. It's gonna look a lot like this Southern Miss game. There it is, guys. 66 something or whatever. We're gonna roll up at least probably another 50-60 points.
I think it's like
back up to the end in the third quarter.
I think it's 45-7.
45-7 probably feels a little bit more right.
Yeah.
But they did roll up 45 on LSU, so I'm probably gonna say 50.
All right.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go 52-7 or something like that.
All right.
Well, all right, y'all. This is the Listen Up Podcast. We out. Hey man, listen, we monetize. Break